Well, let me ask you this, Aisha. If you think that they shouldn't be allowed to do it, and you don't think it's just a black community thing, but let's just try to focus on our sisters first. Noticing all of the movements and the traction black women has been able to get to make changes. If they collectively thought that it doesn't make sense to be able to go and just point at the wall and pick some sperm to have a child, why haven't they gathered up their posters and stuff like that and went out and marched against that to get that dismantled? If they thought it didn't make sense, like I don't think I do. You know what? I was going to make a mistake saying that. I believe women know the black women know the power they have on influence of changes and laws and stuff. It just shows what they care about. If they cared about some of these things, like I think Trev or M. White shared a link to the King Talk, where I think in the state of Michigan, women were just name dropping on a birth certificate so they can get government assistance or government aid. And they never even met these. They didn't even know these dudes exist. And these guys are paying thousands of dollars and in and out of jail for child support because somebody just luckily randomly just picked their name and put it on there, and she had to do it. So like knowing that, how many women do you see coming to City Hall or whatever they go to get change, to say, hey, look, y'all need to stop this shit because I don't think the guys should have to deal with this. No.
I don't think that just like
doing none of that.
Just like feminism and a lot of these movements, they kind of trick or like they have tricked black women into participating in these movements. Because honestly, I don't know anybody black that was like, I'm finna go get artificially inseminated. I think this is something that they just included us in. I don't
but
think
can you at least address that? Can you at least address that first? That you yourself don't see black women as a whole run into the powers that may be to make the changes to actually ask, hey, I need to do away with this. You don't see that, do you?
I see black women as a whole because I participated in some women that I know trying to get some laws changed around men being placed on child support. Trying to pass laws about automatically requiring blood tests when a baby's born, because that should be set in place. So I have sat in meetings, I have went down to the city council, I have sat on panels and pushed that effort, because I think it's insane that they don't do the blood test, because I have people that were victims of people that took care of kids that were not theirs for years. And I think that, that's ridiculous. The whole concept of child support is not to put anybody in jail, right? And I think the first step that we need to do is change the laws around that. So I've sat and been around women that have support for things like this. Now, artificial insemination, like I said, we didn't really talk. That was like white people stuff to us, right? But because we're not out here doing it. But I think it was pushed as an agenda to us, and it's an option. So they created that option for us, and it's not. It didn't help. Just like they created the Plan B pill. You know what I'm saying? That's not a valuable option to me. Like if you don't want, they've been telling us how not to get pregnant since 6th grade. Like, don't have sex.
So Aisha, I commend you on your work for what you're doing, but he did present a question. He was asking, do you think that black women are actually doing that as a whole? Do you?
Do I think they're getting artificially inseminated? No.
No, just as far as going to what you're doing, going to meet councilmen and all.
Thank you. That's what I was saying. And just to give you another angle of understanding, let's say that was actually on the ballot for Kamala Harris. Do you think the same amount of black women would have voted for her?
If she if what was on the ballot? If she
no fault divorce, you can't just put anybody's name on the birth certificate, things of that nature.
Who's just putting people's name on birth certificate?
That's fraud. They should go to jail. Those are so small. Like why? So I believe that people
actually it's illegal to do that.
Listen. Exactly, and we also believe that those people.
Well, I'm just trying to clarify. Do you think that the same? I think what was it? 80-90% of black women voted for Kamala or something. Do you think that same number would exist for Kamala Harris voting numbers if those things that I just mentioned was on the ballot?
That you shouldn't be able to put somebody's name on the birth certificate
and no fault divorce.
Yeah. Who cares? Like, why would you want that?
The question is,
in their clear mind thinks it's okay to put, besides lunatics, thinks it's okay to put another person's name that you don't even know on a birth certificate. That person's not in their right mind. We can all look at that person.
So
like,
do you think the numbers would be the same? The voting numbers would be the same?
To say that that's banned? Sure.
I think whoever was going to vote for her was going to vote for her regardless.
I think that if you put that on the ballot, period, separate from anybody, right? That you should not be able to just put people's names on a birth certificate. I think people will vote for that. Like, you shouldn't. That's crazy as hell.
Well, I'm not arguing. I'm not asking you would people vote for it or not. I'm just saying that the amount of black women that actually voted for her, those numbers, do you think they would turn out the same if those other
what
things?
Was the numbers on black men? How many black men actually voted for Kamala? Do you think those numbers would be the same? You think that would have went up?
If they had no fault divorce and you can't put nobody's name on the birth certificate?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think definitely went up.
Probably had 100% of black men.
It would have went up.
And my question is that, but see how I can answer that? It simply by saying it'll be 100% or the same. Why can't y'all just?
No, I said that.
It would be 100%. Like, that's crazy. But let me just say this too. You have to, most divorce, those things are by the state. That's not usually, those are state rights most of the time, right? So I'm pretty sure whenever things like that happen, it's probably in a certain state that has a lenient, like they're getting over in that state. So a lot of people in that state need to go in and talk to their leaders to get that stuff moved. That's a state by state thing. That's not a federal thing.
Yes. I got a different question. According to these ladies, they believe that they are wife material, which I agree. Because they're saying they have.
I don't think that they think they're wife.
Because they
have to believe that they're wife material.
Based on what y'all said, women are saying that it's hard to find a man. Correct? So, what is it that you think is prohibiting men from asking women to marry them if there are so many suitable women to be married?
I think that it's options. And like everybody keeps saying, if you know what I mean, man, then why he wouldn't want to marry you? He already getting it. You know what I mean?
Like, only the top 20% of men really got options like that.
Correct.
So yeah, those numbers don't add up. I want to hear what Amir is going to say.
Maybe it's the appearance that they have options. They don't necessarily might have not.
Well, I think
Amir.
You don't think men have a realistic view on what kind of options they have?
I think that people think that they have more options than they do.
You didn't answer my question.
Say it again. I must have heard it wrong.
You don't think that men have a realistic idea of what kind of options they have in general?
No, I don't.
You mean the group of men that have to approach and get rejected, and you don't think that they have a realistic view on what kind of options they have?
I think that you understood what I said wrong.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I'm asking you, when you look at men, mm-hmm. and you know that they have to approach, and you know that they have to ask, and you know that they have to gain consent, right. That they don't have a realistic view on what their options are.
What I am saying, Sweeney, is my perception of that is that men think that they have a lot of options. They have a lot of choices in women. Almost like, if this does not work out, I can throw her away and go get the next one. That is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you as a man don't look around. Like, I know when I go to the gas station, how many guys are going to hit on me. Realistically, I know. You know what I mean? But I don't.
Aisha, that's the difference. Is because I'm going to explain to you. This is coming from a man's perspective. When you walk out into the world and we pretty much, after a few years of doing this, you pretty much know what you can get and what you can't get. And
who's an option, who is not.
And we don't consider women that we don't want as options either. So we know, if I don't want these women, but I want these women, but those women don't want me. We know if we get a woman that falls within that category of that she meets somewhere in the middle where it's okay. All right, well, I want her, she want me.
We're going to try our hand.
We're going to try our hand. But we don't have this, oh man, like most men don't have the ideology that what one chick won't do, another one will.
You're
Like
we have that ideology that once you get her, boy, you lucky. What if men always say we get a buck, boy, you a lucky boy.